triceratops skull in there. It was for like $350,000.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to have a whole lot of this.
That's true.
I have dived before. It wouldn't cost me $350,000. Oh no, maybe. I'm sure there's factors I'm not allowing for. All right, where should I hang these? Because will they distract the sloth keeper, you think? Because they're cleaning in the other kitchen with bleach, and I don't want these guys stinking bleach. Oops.
Oh yeah.
All right, hold on.
It's like their own mobile house.
Farm phone, she says, isn't working right. I'll try her back on her phone.
I tried both.
Let's try radio. Camels are coming out right now.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
let them run around. All right, here come the camels. This one's Prince Ali. Prince Ali is a 6-month-old dromedary camel. He's the only white camel I have ever seen live in person. And you're gonna feed Prince Ali, and then you're gonna feed Humphrey. Humphrey is a Bactrian camel. Prince Ali is a dromedary camel. If you had any hope of remembering the two words, you could easily remember which is which, because a Bactrian has like a capital B on its back, and a dromedary has like a capital D for its back. And this is the way the inside of their mouth is with these papillae that direct the food longitudinally down their throat, all nasty looking. But this is also what lets camels eat things like cactuses like that. That's the roof of its mouth.
Oh, okay. Hey,
Inside,
Sloth keeper's
yeah.
coming to the door.
Say what?
Sloth keeper's coming around.
Oh, okay. And a camel can eat basically anything. Morning, y'all. Come on in. All right, so their models are going to be a little bit bigger than the kangaroo.
Sanitize your hands for me right here first.
Yeah? We have riding camels outside. All right, so the first one here is the Prince Ali.
Like 2
Are you
hours.
fairly interested in that bottle?
This way. This is Flash.
All right.
Is there anybody's way down this way?
Look at his tail sticking straight out.
It just sticks out in all the wags. Humphrey wags. Figured out how to open this. There it is. Hey y'all, this is Melissa feeding Prince Ali. Prince Ali is a 6-month-old dromedary camel. He is the only white camel I've ever seen live in person. The dromedaries are the 1-hump camels, and in just a minute we'll be feeding Humphrey, which is a Bactrian or 2-hump camel. Swing around here and get a picture of your face instead of the side of you. Get a couple stills going there. She said mom is interested to see her.
Oh, yeah. You want a picture of the video?
Did she gift you this?
No. That's what we're doing. It's pictures.
Right. Yeah, he really likes the bottles.
So how long do you need to open it for?
A year. Boy, he can really pound it down. You see how he just flattens the bottle right out?
Yeah.
And actually we need to let some air get in there to see what's up until the bottle breaks.
He has gotten so much bigger.
Yeah.
Like, a lot.
I wish I would have measured him when he came. Because I really don't know. so now we're gonna let Prince Ali go outside and play, and then Humphrey's gonna come out.
Oh, look at you.
Come on, Ali.
Is it your turn next, Sarah?
I think Humphrey has like more expressions on his face, you know, because he has like these eyebrows and stuff, and it kind of looks like he has a comb over, and he has a lot of expressions. But Ali is the one that like bounces around a lot.
His back comes floppy. I like something that they kind of
Right. Exactly. They have to have their fat for that. So when they're babies dehydrated, that's when they're not there.
They really, really like the bottles.
His neck's really starting to look poofy and cool.
Yeah, look how big that legs are on this dude.
Was he younger than?
He's 4 months.
Okay.
The other one is 6 months, this guy's 4 months. The back rings are capable of getting bigger than the dromedaries are, but he's unlikely to get bigger than our big camel. Our big camel outside is Ed, and according to Google, Ed is the biggest camel in North America. I don't have any first-hand knowledge that that is true or not, that's just what Google says. He is 7.5 feet tall and he weighs 1,750 pounds. The max size on a back ring camel would be 8 feet tall and 2,200 pounds, but neither one of his parents are that big, so it's very unlikely that he would get that big.
Not trying to break records for the camels with the kangaroos.
I don't really have any choice with the camels. The camels, I bought these 2 young ones because they are very, very unusual camels. And we try to get from, you know, the mild to the wild around here. And so I had never seen a white camel available to purchase before, so I bought them. And I had never seen a silver back ring. I'd seen a back ring once, but I'd never seen a silver back ring. And that's why we got him. And if you look at the stoutness of this guy, he's not as tall as the other guy is yet. Man, he is going to be just a chump. The back ring camels get here is more like a woolly mammal. The dromedary camels will be woolly like a sheep. I guess I would say hairy like a mammoth versus woolly like a sheep. Alright, I got some stills and video on both of the camels. You pet this guy right here, he starts wagging his tail.
Ew. Stop spelling my dog's name. She don't crack by her tail.
What kind of dog?
She's a boxer. Good old lady. Not young, dead lady. Another one, she had surgery there. She got some big lump of something in there. I wonder if it's just like that scar. They should have put on there. You could eat it. So they also sell like salty, like egg.
Oh yeah, they have big in there. And they get some amount of dry feed, but mainly it's the bottles. These guys get 6 liters of milk every day.
How does it cost camel milk compared to kangaroo milk?
Not near as bad. The camels actually are eating lamb's milk. Lamb's milk is some of the fattest milk out there, and easier to get than camel milk. People that milk camels are milking them for medicinal purposes, and it doesn't make sense to milk a camel to feed milk to a camel.
So what is the medicinal purpose of camel milk?
I don't really know. There's some particular disease that the only thing that helps with it is camel milk. I really don't know the ins and outs. But I know this from a guy going to the zoo up in Michigan that started out that he had a kid that had this disease, and at the point that he got up to 40 camels to have milk to provide medicine for medicinal purposes, kids with the same disorder, and was absolutely losing his shirt. He started calling himself a zoo.
Ah.
Yep, now he's gonna go outside and play. out here, Kevin.
I know, that's why I was like, I will come video that.
See what they think of each other. Come on, bub. Welcome to come out here. What are you doing? Oh, okay. Oh, that's fine.
You don't wanna be out here, buddy.
You might be saying that's a big old camel. I'm not sure. Hey, Abu. What you think, buddy?
He's got an itch.
Still no baby zebra.
Oh man. At least it's not 1,000 degrees outside anymore.
Right?
It was,
Nice, starting to cool down.
yeah, ridiculously hot.
None of that. Humphrey. Hey, baby. Start a poll on how long it takes Humphrey to get bigger than Ollie.
I'm interested, I'm looking at those F1 hybrids where they breed them together. It says that they can get bigger. You can breed a dromedary and a Bactrian. It ends up being kind of like they called it F1 hybrid.
Get a long hump.
They said a lot of times you do get like one long hump, but sometimes you still just get two. They were saying like in the Middle East, the reason a lot of people do it is because you end up with more meat.
Yeah.
Because they used them as meat.
I wonder if it's like cows that the first generation hybrid vigor is huge.
Oh,
And after that you get runs.
maybe.
Could be.
I'm gonna go put this on, Michaela.
Yeah. So the two babies were all interested in a boot. I gave him a little run like he does at and then they're like,
front hands reach down, be fully extended to grab that branch and pull it up to him.
Okay.
And so a lot of times if he's over here and he's really into eating and I'm not being quick enough, he'll reach out and go start going like this, because that's just a natural thing for them to be doing, you know, if he's extended all the way down like that.
Okay.
And sometimes people will try to hand him a sweet potato or something
Yeah.
in that claw, but this is really the only motion that they can do, and so
Gotcha.
he's pretty clumsy with it. Sometimes if somebody hands him a piece at like an awkward angle where he's
Yeah.
got it in the sides of his mouth, sometimes he can kind of manipulate it to get it over, but it's not very graceful when he does.
So they really are for holding onto branches
Yeah.
and climbing and not on the
Pretty
boughs.
much. But they're excellent at doing what they do, because for me, if I tried to hold onto that branch and dangle there, I wouldn't be able to do it for longer than like 30 seconds because I'd be using muscles to do that.
You're
He's
wanting
probably
another
gonna be
sweet
looking-
potato?
yeah.
Is that what
You could
you're
offer
looking
him
for?
any of that.
But yeah, just the curvature of
Oh
the,
my
the way his hand
gosh.
curves.
Well, a
and
little
all
bit of that as well, but for a sloth, you know, they basically have no muscle mass.
Okay.
They don't have a whole lot of muscle in them whatsoever. But what they do have, the muscles that are in their forearms are
They're
extremely
adorable.
tight. So snap down like this is actually their relaxed state.
Oh, okay.
Squeezing is really effortless for
They
them,
work
just
to
because,
extend.
yeah, exactly. They've got to use the muscles in the back of their forearm to open that claw up. And so for that reason, if he was to actually pass away holding on to the underside of a branch, he would continue to hang
Hold
there
on,
until
yes.
something rotted or knocked him off that
Oh, wow.
branch.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mhm.
I wonder if you'll eat a
Maybe.
zucchini yet. Or just a sweet potato today.
He typically will pick, like he'll always trade out. He's always good down for a good green bean, but on the other things, he'll kind of rotate through where most of the time he'll want either green beans or sweet potatoes, but then he'll randomly pick a day like he only wants zucchini or he only wants squash.
He's like, no, I told him
And,
that.
and I never knew that there was a difference in smell between zucchini and squash, but there apparently is, because if he's on a zucchini day and I try to
Yeah.
offer him a squash in between, he's like, no, that's not what I always wanted.
That's so funny. Yeah, I wouldn't think so either. I mean, they taste a little different,
Yeah.
but they're the same, like,
Yeah, like uncooked, I would just, I
Yeah.
don't know, I didn't think that they'd have a different smell, but since their eyesight is so poor, they really pick up on, you know, their smell and their sense of hearing is actually really heightened. And so, it works out well for them, but their eyesight, they have a condition that's called rod monochromacy, and that means that they only have rod cells in their eyes and no cone cells. We have both,
I
and
like
the
your
cone cells,
snacking.
the cone cells allow us to see color, where the rod cells allow us to see motion. They don't have the cone cells, so they are colorblind, but they see motion a lot better than we do because they
Okay.
have more. You know, something out of the corner of my eye, like a little mouse running across the floor or something, my brain would probably just deem that as insignificant. It's not a threat to me, it's not gonna hurt me, and so I'm probably not gonna even register that it's there.
Right.
But for a sloth, their field of vision is already a lot more narrow, but if they see something out of the corner of their eye, even just a little movement, it is hardwired into them that they are supposed to react to that and supposed to look over at that, because in the wild, a jaguar is not going to be barreling out on the end of that branch trying to get a hold of them. They're going to be sneaking up on them. And for a sloth that has essentially no defense mechanism, they've got to be able to pick that up so that they can get to the very end of that branch.
Right.
Because the end of the branch is going to get a lot thinner, a lot more unstable, where it may be able to support a 10 or 15 pound sloth, but will probably deter that cat from going out further after them. But if that cat is daring enough to go out on the end of the branch as well with the sloth, that branch is probably going to eventually break. And if that happens, that's kind of best case scenario for the sloth, because the sloths are built to be able to withstand a fall from up to 100 feet in the air and be completely unharmed, whereas the cat's going to be trying to land on all 4 feet,
Yeah.
which would be fine from 5-10 feet up in the air, but not ideal for a 100-foot fall.
How do they follow? Are they just gonna ball up? And,
No, they kind of go like
Okay.
all 4 arms out when they
You don't
fall.
want that either.
And so that kind of slows them down a little bit too, because they've got more surface area.
I don't have anything
Did he
else.
eat all the sweet
Yes, he
potatoes?
doesn't want squash or zucchini. I tried
Well,
both.
we'll
Hold
just
on.
break out the big one, and then I'll give you all this. Get some green beans out here for a minute too for some variety.
Oh, yum.
So where'd you guys
No?
hear about us?
You don't want it? You
Oh,
don't want
did
that
you
either? Okay.
Yep, sometimes he's a little finicky. Did you guys hear about us on TikTok or social media?
Yeah, I saw y'all on TikTok a while back, and I've
Yeah.
just been following y'all.
Yeah?
I wanted to stay in the camp. Was it the camp? Is that where you can see the sloths and the camel?
No,
No,
yeah,
not
in the camel
yeah.
condo.
Yes.
Mhm, Yep.
I wanted to stay there, but
Yeah.
that wasn't
Yeah.
quite in the budget.
Hey, little buddy.
I'm not gonna open this just yet, because if I do, this is gonna be the only thing that he wants, but we were gonna get that mixture
Are
mixed
you
up.
sure you don't want to have one of these? You've been eating it.
I think, buddy.
No?
He is so picky that
You're so
sometimes
funny.
I have offered him one end of a veggie, and he's turned his nose up at it like, no, I'm not really feeling that one. And then I'll turn it around and offer him the other end, and then he'll take
That's
it.
the good
Do you
stuff.
think
right?
you'll
Yeah.
take that, a different one?
I think, bud.
No?
You can tell he's thinking about it.
Here.
He's like,
No? Okay. Suit you.
And sometimes he does that. Sometimes he'll take breaks in between and just go to the end of the branch, and then he'll come back and he'll just go kind of back and forth.
You're so funny.
And sometimes you can almost hear when he's opening and closing his mouth a little bit, almost like a squeak or a grinding noise. And that's actually those teeth grinding together to sharpen them every time that they close their mouths. Yeah. So they don't have any teeth there in the very front of their mouths. Now he's going to show us his rear end. That's how he will hook onto the door frame there. That's how he goes back up. And so sometimes when he gets his belly full, he's like, yeah, I'm tired of you guys. I want to go.
I want to go back up to my.
But, yeah, and then sometimes if he stays out here longer, he'll change his mind and come back and want to eat some more. So he's just all over the place sometimes.
You're just not sure. I get it.
Yeah, his personality is
Indecisive king.
Yeah.
I get it.
very much so, yeah. But yeah, those teeth are actually all pointed, which is quite, when you're holding Dash and Dash is looking up at you, he'll let out this big yawn. And it's like the cutest / scariest thing that you've ever seen, because you're not expecting this little cute sloth's mouth to have all these razor sharp teeth down in it. But it's still really cute. What do you think, bud? Those make for some good pictures too, and he's lowered down like that. What do you think, buddy? Another thing that we need to do this morning to kind of prep our food is the babies are on this sweet potato mixture with rice and dog food in it. And so it's supposed to look like that. And we've got another batch that we made this morning of just the plain rice. So we've got plain rice right here. So we need to shave up some sweet potatoes and soak some dog food into it.
I think he knows that you got that agreement.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like
huh?
the fur looks wiry, but it's actually very
Uh-huh,
soft.
yeah. And, for a wild sloth, they would be a lot more coarse, a lot more wiry, because they've got all that moss and algae and everything growing on them.
Right.
And Flash has the ability to, we've just never given him the possibility to, because he really doesn't need it. He's not trying to be camouflaged in from anything else in the rainforest. And he doesn't need that entire ecosystem living on his back like a wild sloth would.
He's like, no.
And does it help with parasites and things like that? Can keep them healthy?
Parasites, not so much. I haven't heard anything about that. But the ecosystems that they have on their backs in the wild is extremely important for them, not only for the fact that they need to be camouflaged in, because they've got essentially no defense mechanisms.
Right.
It is still really important for them to have that on their backs, because those moths that I was talking about earlier will live on the backs as well, and they'll feed off of that moss and algae.
Okay.
And those moths are really, really important to the sloths to be able to have those on their backs. Let's see, bud. That mixture that I was showing you is what the baby sloths will eat for the most part. Flash loves it as well. He doesn't necessarily need it. It has extra protein in it, but extra protein you just end up peeing out. So.
Oh, okay.
The sloth keeper encounters are kind of a rarity. We really only, I think the last one that I did was like 3 weeks ago. And so sometimes in the mornings, I'll have all this already prepared, like I'll get it done, the night before or whatever.
Yeah.
And so in the mornings, I just have already everything
Have it.
prepped, and so he doesn't have to wait for very long. And then when we do the sloth keeper encounters where I'm doing all this to show everybody what we do, he's like, why is it taking so long? It's a little bit of an attitude. He is very demanding. And a lot of times he'll be lowered down doing that thing where he's reaching out at me trying
Trying
to.
to, it's like, hey, I'm
Oh,
right
yeah.
here.
And we had the idea of, because right now his branch just goes right there and he's just got a little bit of room to go back and forth.
To bring it over here.
But yeah, we were thinking about going and wrapping it around the room, but I'm like, if we do that, he's gonna be in my business all the time, lower down right here, reaching right at my face, trying
And
to
the
get me
knives are
to.
there and things like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah. So maybe we'll have to, like, I don't know, go.
Right there or
Yeah.
something, just like behind you a
Yeah.
little bit.
But that is the next project on the agenda. We've got tons of projects here all the time.
You guys have a nice facility here.
Well, thank you. We've definitely come a long way with it. It was just about, a year and a half ago, there were 3 employees, 2 of which being John and Donna, the owners. And so now we have 21 employees and a lot more animal encounters than we did then. So we are ever growing, ever changing, and getting more and more stuff in.
Is that a big source of funding for you guys, the encounters?
Yeah, I mean, it really just helps to make a dent in the cost of food and the cost of formula.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys have the kangaroo encounter at any point, but to feed baby kangaroos is, I mean, prohibitively expensive. That's why a lot of places don't do it. A lot of even breeding facilities don't bottle raise their baby kangaroos because it is entirely so expensive to do so. And the price that we charge for the baby kangaroo bottle feedings don't even, I mean, it makes a dent in the cost of the formula, but it doesn't pay for itself, no. So that's why we have to do all these other encounters and everything as well, just to make up for the cost of keeping everything alive.
So are you guys a rescue?
Not necessarily, no, some of our animals have been rescues, but it's more so like, it started out when they moved here in 2019. It started out as an Airbnb place, and so
Okay.
there was the main house, and they had the Riverside cabin and a horse barn. And so they eventually started getting some horses, and they did they started doing some Airbnb with the Riverside cabin and renting that out to people. And then people slowly started requesting like to collect eggs with them in the morning, and like, can we, brush the horses with you and stuff like that. And they just enjoyed, seeing everybody else make memories and be happy and everything around their animals. And so they slowly started getting more and more and more animals. And it just kind of, they had their own business in Virginia, where they came from. And so it just kind of became natural then as they started getting more animals, that it's like, well, we're gonna have to start charging for this somehow, because we've got so many, bills for feed and everything that we've got to make up for it. And then it just became more so, they've always been passionate about education, especially for the younger ones, especially in Benton, Tennessee, when it's a really small town where there's a lot of kids, but not as, the nearest zoo is in Knoxville and Chattanooga,
Okay.
which are both, an hour away, over an hour away. And so they do a lot of field trips here, and they'll have, you have to have at least 50 kids for it to really be worth it, because it takes up the whole day. You can't do any other encounters for the day. But they do have a passion for it. They do like doing those encounters with the kids, because it just, and I'm a big advocate too. Like, if you grow up around animals and you have respect for animals, you've got to end up being a good person. If you have respect for animals, you have respect for people.
Yeah.
Because, buddy, are you just sleeping up there now? What do you think? Hmm?
He's like, well, you took so long.
I know. Oh, bud. Well, he needs his supplements this morning anyway, so I guess we'll just go ahead and break out the good stuff.
This is what you knew was coming, so you were like, not messing around with the other stuff.
He holds
If I just
out
act
for the
standoffish,
stuff.
then she'll get the stuff.
It's funny how animals learn too, just like
Yeah.
the baby humans.
Yep.
They can figure it out.
What do you think, bud? Usually as soon as I open that up, he's already extended down, because he knows what that little snap means. Open up the good stuff.
His little nose is going, he just kind of,
And when I'm shaking up his supplements and things too, he starts to realize what's going on. Because they're very
you know
routine
what's
animals.
coming.
They like to do the same things at the same time every day.
Emergency.
Oh.
Forgot my coffee.
That's a tragedy.
He forevermore is coming in here, even if his coffee's not in here. He's like, "Do you have my coffee?" I'm like, "No, I don't have your coffee."
I can't start my day without it.
You give him a camelback or something like that, just fill that up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That'd be good for him. He always sets it down everywhere and then forgets where he leaves it.
Or an air tag on it or something.
Yeah. Oh, but I'm working on it.
So does he have the sniffles, or do they normally?
No, he always is wet like that. So
Okay.
they've got high humidity requirements. And so in their enclosures, we have to mist once a day, which his was still misted from last night. I haven't even misted it today yet. But since those humidity requirements are so high and we do mist their enclosures a lot, their noses tend to be pretty moist and pretty wet like that. And his stays more moist than the other two sloths. You know, Dash most of the time he'll get dried out sometimes, and we've got to mist his more often, just because they're all different in the way that they're all the same type of sloth. They've all got different personalities and different, would you say health requirements, I guess? Not necessarily, because they're all the same type of animal, but you know what I mean?
Right. Some people have oily skin, some people have drier skin.
Exactly,
things like
yeah.
that. And the wet nose helps them smell better, right? Kind of like dogs.
Maybe. Could be. I haven't heard that, but it could definitely be a possibility. He won't eat these supplements by himself, but if I put it in rice, he loves it.
That is hilarious.
He'll eat just about anything if you mix it in with some of this rice.
I'm stretching. Oh.
Hey, bud. You hungry this morning?
Do they get sweets, things like peanut butter or anything like that? Or is it never
Not
worked with their
really.
system?
The most fructose that they'll get will be in the fruits that we give them. So he is a sucker for bananas, and sometimes in the mornings, if he's being kind of slow, taking him forever to come down, I'll go in there with a banana and start to blow it up towards him.
Look at He's
So-
like, oh, hey, let me
That's
grab.
the stuff. Alright.
If you wanted to hold this makes for some really good pictures too, and he's extended all the way down like that.
Oh, look at his tongue.
And their tongues are soft. They're not like cat tongues or cow tongues. They're not rough or anything.
He sounds like Chloe when she's drinking.
So did you guys have any other encounters today, or is it just the sloth?
Just this one.
Yeah.
Sloths have always been my favorite.
Yeah.
So this is like a bucket list.
Yeah.
Was my birthday present.
Oh. Was your birthday today, or was it already?
It was last Wednesday.
Oh, well, happy late
But, yeah,
birthday.
thanks.
What did you get to do the day of?
We have 3 kids, so.
It was a Wednesday, so it was school stuff.
Yeah.
And then they had,
Sports and
of course, we
whatnot.
scheduled dental appointments for all of them that day in the morning, and then at night, I couldn't go out to dinner because my oldest, who's a freshman, had lacrosse mandatory parent meeting.
Oh my goodness.
Like, happy birthday to me.
Yeah, for real.
It's the same way with Mother's Day. We're normally at the ballpark.
Yeah.
You can have extending for that.
And they have excellent core strength to be able to do that, because he'll extend all the way down. And then if he's startled by something, like if I accidentally clang a dish or something, and he goes to move back up, he can get back up there a lot quicker than I could do a sit-up, that's for sure.
I can't believe they could eat like this upside. It's just so
Yeah.
weird that they could eat upside down.
Yeah, because for us, it would work out.
No.
Yeah, if I tried to do a handstand and eat like that, it probably would not work out very well and be coming out the other way. For a sloth, it works very well because their digestive system only has a one-way valve in it. It allows food to go in and out the other way and not back up. And so it works for them because it's a lot more, it conserves a lot of energy if they do like how I was mentioning earlier, if they're on one branch and they'll extend down like that to grab a branch that's below them, and they'll pull that up to them and be able to eat that instead of having to make that long trek all the way to get there.
Is that why
So-
he's grabbing onto my hand? Like,
Yeah, I mean, some of it is a natural instinct, but at the same time, he doesn't want you to take it from him.
he's like, don't.
Yeah, because if I, in the middle of doing something else and I've got to leave for a second to go do something else and I have to take that bowl from him, he starts
He's
grabbing.
like, no, please. He's like, you need to finish this first. This is important.
But you can see those claws, they're pretty much naturally wore down. those claws will
gonna say.
continuously, yeah, they grow throughout their lives.
I was always wondering if they were sharp or not.
When they're babies, they're a little bit more sharp because they just don't climb as much. They both have the possibility to. They've got, with Dash, he just turned a year old. And so he put that entire basket into his enclosure where he's got branches right above him. He can grab onto and climb if he wants to. But in the day, he's always in that basket. It's only at nighttime that he comes out, and that's been his choice. And another thing about Dash is that he will cover himself up with a towel or a blanket and like roll to wrap himself up in it. And when I have to go get him in the morning, if he's not already in the basket, if he's like sitting outside of it, I have to unroll him to be able
That's
to get him out.
funny.
And then when I do, it's like, I hate when I go in there and he's rolled over in the floor because I've got to get him up and put him back in there. Because when he wakes up and he sees you, first thing he's just wanting to grab onto your arm just to climb up you because
So
he's wanting
sweet.
to. Yeah.
I would not be able to put him down and be like, you're just gonna go everywhere with me today.
Yeah. No.
So will they just kind of sit on your shoulder and let you walk around with them?
Yeah, I mean, that's more so what's most comfortable for them is that they'll wrap their legs around your torso,
Okay.
and you'll just kind of support them underneath the booty, and they're most comfortable like that. But I've seen other people that have sloths that they'll like hang on to their backs. It just, for me, their claws are a little bit more sharp because they're younger,
Sure.
and if you're not supporting under their booty, they really grip on pretty
Yeah.
hard. And I've actually got little scars here on my shoulder from Zoe, where she does not like to be down low in your lap. She wants to be up high on your chest where she can wrap around your neck and have her head cuddled in right next to your
Oh my
neck.
gosh.
And Dash is very different. He likes to be down low to where he can look up at you and look back behind him, and so on and so forth. So they were raised the same way by the same guy, but their personalities are just so different, and it's really cool to see all the differences between them.
He's almost done.
And he'll lick that bowl clean too.
Turn yourself
Yeah,
around.
and another thing, while he was twisting like that, the two-toed sloths have the ability to completely keep their hips facing one way, and then they can rotate their spine at their lumbar spine, so their lower back, all the way around to look back behind
You got a
them.
little
So
something
that
on
would
your
be
nose.
like, my hips facing this way, and between I go
Yeah.
about halfway, they can go all the way back to look back behind them.
You got a little something.
Yeah. They all hate to have their faces clean, so it'll eventually fall off.
Are you done? You didn't lick it all? Oh. You finished?
He says, yeah, that's all my supplements at the bottom.
He's in a hurry too.
Yeah.
He's like, mm-mm.
Oh, that's good for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah. Alrighty. Let's see, I'm gonna step out and grab that dog food real quick so that
Okay.
it can be soaking. We'll be mixing that other rice. I will be right.
So he just stays, this is Dad.
Yes, that's Dash.
He just stays in there
In
then?
the daytime, and he kind of gave up because I've got that towel kind of tucked to where he can't get out.
So he's
But,
trying.
Yes, yeah, when we first came in this morning and we were talking first off, he was trying his best to uncover himself.
That's
to get
okay.
Wanted
out.
to see what was going
Yeah.
on.
And usually he's a lot more adamant about it than that. Usually he's like, I'm getting this thing off me no matter if it's tucked or not. So he must be still pretty tired this morning, but yeah, if he can hear people talking in the same room as him and they're not
He's
holding
fine,
him,
yeah.
he's trying to, but if he's sleeping and he can't see anybody and can't hear anybody, he's completely content. He'll just stay in that basket. But yeah, which is very unusual for sloths as well. And holding on to people is unusual for sloths. And so Dash and Zoe both are just exceptions to the sloth community as a whole, with how different they are and how they were raised. I'll be right back. Let me get some dog food real quick.
He's probably like, all right, I'm ready to go for a nap. Can you open that door?
How do they sleep on their back with their legs up in the air?
It's cracking me up.
Where you going, bud?
When you see this one's ears.
Mm-hmm.
He's so cute. I think he knows that's his enclosure. That's what he's trying. I think he's trying to get in there. Is that his enclosure right there?
Yeah.
He's like, let me back in.
It's time. My
It's nap
belly's
time.
full.
How many times a day do they eat?
Dash and Zoe are both snackers. Flash is pretty much strictly just in the morning, and then in the evening we'll put his food in there and he just gets it whenever.
Okay.
But for the most part, in general, they're pretty much just snackers. Because in the wild, they would be snacking all throughout the day.
Hi, buddy.
Well, it looks like he has gotten his belly full for this morning, so we will switch out and probably move to Dash here first. Get this chair fixed here. Alrighty. Hey, buddy.
So how many of the animals are you in charge of?
I'm the sloth keeper,
Okay.
so it's basically, I already feel like I need another person just because we've got 3 sloths. We're about to have a 4th one. So it is a full-time job to be able to
Oh,
take
look at a
care of
picture of
these guys.
that. Oh.
It says, pick me up.
Oh.
So you can see that to be an ambassador sloth where they're actually held and interacted with like this, they have to meet 2 requirements to be able to leave that facility. They have to genuinely enjoy and actively seek human interaction. And so we thought that we were gonna get our 4th baby sloth about 2 months ago, but after she was weaned, the breeder just kind of started picking up that she was more so just kind of tolerating human interaction, but wasn't actively seeking it out like that. And with how much that we interact with our sloths here and everything, he was just like, it's not gonna be a good fit. I know you're next on the waiting list, but it's just gonna have to be the next baby
So
girl
what
that I get."
happens then? Where
She
does that
just-
sloth go to?
She went to a different facility that was on that waiting list as well. That
Just
wasn't
doesn't do all
gonna
this.
be, yeah, it wasn't gonna be handled as much. So she would just have gotten to do whatever she wanted to do, whenever she wanted to do it, pretty
Gotcha.
much, so, yeah.
Which I'm sure they do too. You probably work on how they're feeling.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, all of our animal encounters are the animals encounters. It's based on how they're feeling and what they're feeling like. If they're not into it for whatever reason, which Dash and Zoe have never had an off day where they're just like, I don't wanna do it because they're ambassador sloths. But sometimes Flash is real slow in the morning for coming down. We just kind of have to explain to people that he was raised in a very different way than Flash or Dash and Zoe. So he gets to do what he wants to do. And if it were to ever be that, Dash was just completely not feeling it and didn't want to be held for whatever reason, that would be completely his decision. We just have
Right.
to respect it. So.
Yeah.
But, so Dash did just turn a year old. And in general, like I was saying, sloths do have really poor eyesight, but they react to motion really well. And so when we're handling them, we don't want to be moving our hands up close to his face or anything, because he's going to be reacting, he's going to look at it, and he's not going to be able to tell if it's food or if it's something that's trying to hurt him. And so we try to just keep our hand on the back like this.
Okay.
And then if we're giving him a piece of, that bowl of food, we'll hold it right here next to his head. But we do real slow, gentle pets. They don't really like the scritches like a dog or a cat might like, and they don't like their hair to be moved up the opposite way. And for Dash, it's really tempting to scratch him on the underside of his chin, because a lot of times he'll be looking backwards to see what's going on back behind him, and people are like, oh, well, a dog or cat would like that and go to scritch it. But for a sloth, something all of a sudden touching around the neck that they can't see coming can be really alarming. As well as the legs. That's kind of their security blanket. That's when they feel most secure, is when they're holding all 4 onto you. And so if you try to pick that leg up or touch that leg, it can be kind of alarming for them too, because for a sloth, even though he's never been in the wild, has never been exposed to a jaguar or an ocelot, the sloth's going to be on the underside of the branch. That jaguar is going to be on the top side. The first thing they're going to grab is a leg. And even though he's never been around that, doesn't even know what those animals are, it's still hardwired into them to be a little more cautious. And so he's going to wrap his back legs around kind of your waist area, just like this. And
Okay.
you put one hand underneath his booty, and then the other one you can place on his back to be able to
Okay.
pet him.
Are you
I
trying to get
know.
the fly?
Those flies are so annoying for him. And for him, it's kind of second nature for us to flap our hand around in front of him. Like if it lands on our face, that's what we do. But for them, something all of a sudden flapping in front of their face as well as a fly landing on it can be kind of overstimulating. So we try to avoid it, even though it's like second nature for us to do. Hold on, bud. He's looking for some food.
You're looking
Get
for
some
some.
ice here.
Yeah, he is stretching.
Yeah. It's like, where's that lady?
We saw your message when you said you were watching and coming here to do. I was like, yeah. And somebody was like, what is that?
So do you think that you could reach to hold that with, yeah. I mean, if you want to bring it over to the other side, you can do that too. And after you get some good videos and stuff, you might be able to hold that dish too to be able to kind of both be in the shot, and I can take some pictures for you guys. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick if you want to snap
Sure.
for a second.
Where y'all from?
Woodstock, Georgia.
Oh, that's not far. Yeah. I grew up in Dawsonville, Georgia,
Okay.
so much smaller.
Yes. Woodstock has grown.
Oh yeah. That's just cute. So it used to be like jet black, and people would show up like in the middle of winter to hold them, you know, and they'd be all kitted out and all the black stuff. And they're like, take a picture with this cute sloth. And I'm like, you can't see what you're holding. Yeah.
It's a good thing you wore bright colors.
Yeah, it's a great color. Is it your first time holding a sloth?
Yes.
The bucket list thing.
Oh, nice.
Yes, we were gonna go to Costa Rica,
Yeah?
but they changed the laws.
You can't hold
There
them.
in Honduras, yeah.
Yep.
No more.
'Cause
Which
they-
I would want to do at somewhere like a
Yeah, because they were just
safe
taking them out of the
facility,
zoo.
but
And even down there, it's like you will see wild ones, but it really just looks like a bee's nest up in the tree. You're like, is that
Is
a
that
nest or is that a sloth? And then occasionally they'll just be like down on the ground. You're like, do I help this? Like, what do I do? It is cool just to visit, but yeah, most of the times you're not ever touching a sloth.
I still would like to go and
Oh,
see them
yeah.
in their natural habitat at some point.
100%. Yeah,
But this was like my
yeah.
bucket list item.
When you go down there, go over towards the volcano Arenal, and then that's where they have like some more of the swamps, and you'll see more monkeys and then like even
Nice.
alligators and stuff. And there's a waterfall over there that you can hike into. It's called Pozo Azul, and it's like a 25-foot waterfall. We took people there to let them run it in their kayaks. But yeah, there's a lot of beauty in Costa Rica.
Oh, I would love to go.
And for the beaches, go on the Atlantic side, because the Gulf side isn't as nice, but like Manuel Antonio and stuff, and Manuel Playa on the western side, the beaches are a lot better. And usually you can just like roll into a town and find like a decent hotel. And they're not going to be like a La Quinta
No,
or Hilton or
right.
anything, you know, but like you can find spots that are like 30, 40
You're
bucks a
looking at my
night.
finger. I think, are you looking? No, there you go.
Glad y'all made it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, your thumb was right by a little piece of food. So.
Is that what he's trying to get?
Just make sure that he's not gonna open up and get a hold of your finger, cause like I said, with that poor eyesight that they've got, they're not gonna be able to tell the difference between a bite of food and a bite of your finger, so,
They'll taste different.
yeah.
Finger won't taste good. Are you able to reach it all?
Make this work.
The three-toed sloth, they've got a lot longer of a neck too. We've just got the two-toed sloths here. It makes more sense to call them two-fingered sloths because
Yes,
it's the
it's the-
front where they've got the two.
And not the back.
Yeah, and the back, all sloths actually will have 3 claws back there. So whoever just deemed to call them two-toed sloths, I guess they just thought they all had legs, but I consider the front ones to be arms for whatever reason.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it makes
Agreed.
more sense. But, yeah, the three-toed sloth, they've got like 4 extra vertebrae in their cervical spine that will actually allow their neck to be able to twist 180 degrees backwards to look back behind them like they can do with their lumbar spine. And then the three-toed sloths actually will have a little bit of a tail as well, and that tail has like 4 vertebrae in it. And it's thought that the three-toed sloths actually have a greater population of moths living on the backs because when they go down to go to the bathroom, they use that tail to kind of swirl around in the waste product, and it's really gross, but it is what it is. It helps them out because those moths are important to them, and so it helps to pick up more of those moths because they can't fly. Like I said, they need that direct contact, so they'll crawl up on there a lot easier.
So, I noticed that they've got eyes more to the front of their head, and I was always under the impression that prey animals tend to have them kind of on the sides
Yeah,
so they can see better. It's interesting.
yeah, it is. It's just something more. You'd think that that they would be more on the sides of their heads because that's typically how it works for those guys, but. Probably help them out a lot more if they had them like that because they'd be able to see a little bit better.
Your eyes don't work very well anyway.
Their field of vision is already really narrow. And that could be
I
because
feel
they're
that
on
though.
front
I
of
have really bad eyesight too.
Yeah.
If I didn't have my contacts in, I would probably be just like you.
it.
I would not be able to drive, operate any kind of machinery. May not even know who's sitting next to me. I mean, it's bad.
And that's what it's like for them, you know, a lot of times he'll be looking back here at me because he hears me talking, but just
He
for him
doesn't
looking
see
at
you.
me, he can see the figure, but he was not gonna be able to tell who I am. That's how poor their eyesight is in the day. Now, at nighttime it does work a lot better. It's kind of like night goggle vision for them, where if you look through night goggle visions, you can really only see shapes and blobs. You can't really distinguish who it is or what it is that's moving around in front of you. You just see movement. That's kind of what it's like for them. And that's why, you know, some people consider them to be nocturnal animals because they are a lot more active at night. But in the day, they are awake quite a bit. They just choose not to move around as much because they really can't see what they're doing. They can't see what they're grabbing onto.
So are you guys looking at getting a three-toed sloth?
No, definitely not,
Not.
because a three-toed sloth is really difficult to keep in captivity.
Really?
Yes, their diets are extremely sensitive, and they can really only eat the leaves of the Cecropia trees, and those
Okay.
don't grow in North America. So to own a three-toed sloth, you basically have to own a private jet as well to fly
get
you to and from the rainforest.
Oh, see, I had
once a
no
week.
idea that was.
Yeah.
That must be why I never see them, like even at the zoos and things.
Yeah, and so I had an encounter sometime last week, and this lady swore up and down that she had an encounter in Texas with a three-toed sloth. And I was like, I highly doubt it. Are you completely sure? And I had already explained to her how, you know, even though they're two-toed sloths, they've got three on the back, and it's the front where they've got the two. And she's like, no, I swear it had three on the front and three on the back. And I was like, I guess. I don't know anybody that wealthy to be able to have one like that.
Well, they have completely different faces.
They do, yeah.
So they're
Typically,
kind of the mask.
Yes.
yes, yeah, yeah. And that's, you know, that's just a classic, you know, three-toed sloth is that look, and so that's why a lot of times the sloths are advertised. It's all three-toed sloths that you see.
I'm trying to get on the fun.
Sometimes he gets jealous and he's like, hey, actually.
He's like,
I'm
hey,
hungry
what-
now."
So they're fairly solitary, right?
Yes.
Are they territorial? Like, do they fight over territory, or do they just leave each other alone?
Not so much territorial because they all pretty much stay in their own little tree. You know, some, here, I'll give you these if you want to. Some of those are chopped up a lot smaller to where you can actually hand feed those to them. But just be sure to hold on to the very end of it so you don't stick a
You
finger in
got
his
me.
mouth. But
You got me some.
yeah, good gifts there.
Oh hi. Hi.
But
You're
what
so
was I saying?
cute.
I forgot. How short-term memory loss.
Same. I don't know. What were we talking about?
I was asking about if they're territorial.
Oh, territorial.
That's what
Yeah.
it was.
No, normally they stay in the same trees that they're, you know, that they're most comfortable in. They're eating the leaves of the Cecropia trees, and there's 4 or 5 different varieties of those trees. And so they all taste a little bit different too. And they all kind of pick their favorite type, and that's what they like to stick to.
Okay.
They'll pick that tree and they'll stay pretty much in that same type of tree. And they'll usually be like a little cluster or bundle of that same
Oh.
type. Here, I'll give you these. You can offer him those sweet potatoes if you want to.
Oh, that's hilarious. Look at that.
What do you think, buddy?
Nope.
You were
Let's see, maybe
just
he's
wondering
green
what.
beans.
Use some yellow ones. Oh, you're gone. Alright.
He's like, no, you don't got the goods.
Maybe it's because we had to work out the green beans yesterday. And these kind of have that film on them. He's really picky about his beans. And if they, you know how you leave a veggie in the fridge for a while, it starts kind of that slimy stuff on it, he can't stand that. And sometimes I can get away with it if it's starting to get just a little bit and I rinse it off and
Yeah.
wash it real good. He'll eat it, but most of the time.
Has anyone thought of, and there's probably knock-on effects of this, but like importing the Cecropia trees into a specific area to allow them to be here?
Yeah, I mean, there's been efforts in southern parts of Florida and California to get some groves growing. They haven't been
Successful.
Yeah, they haven't been very successful with it just yet because they really require a real hot, humid environment. And even in Florida, you know, if we have a real cold spurt up here, it affects down there. So they haven't had it working out the best for them just yet, but if they are able to do that, then that'll definitely be a game
Look at the
changer.
tongue. Look at the tongue.
Is it really a rainforest type tree? So
Yeah.
it needs lots of rain and
Yes, yeah. And it would not work better in a greenhouse type environment, but those sarcopia trees can grow to be up to 100 feet in the air.
oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, they can grow to be really massive trees. It's not gonna work the best in the greenhouse environment to grow that big. What do you think, buddy? And we'll see at the very end, when we finish up with Flash, we'll make sure we have enough time to watch him go back up to the top of his enclosure, because
Okay.
it's really cool to actually be able to watch how he hooks onto the door frame and then goes up, because there's a branch pretty close right there that he'll grab onto. And a lot of people don't believe us when we tell him that he does hook on there and go up by himself, but it is really cool to watch that.
Will you come on this side and take a picture? Oh, now you're gonna move your head though, aren't you?
Sudden movement.
Dash is probably our most ADHD sloth that we have. Any type of movements that he sees whatsoever, he's like, gotta check it out and make sure that he's not missing out on anything.
I love that he has his little tongue sticking out.
It does, it's so cute.
His tongue is either sticking out like that or his mouth is hanging halfway open and he just looks astonished.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Amazing.
Is he warm?
I mean, not like, it's not like
Yeah.
super like heat coming off of or anything.
Yeah, it
It's the
starts
slow
to,
metabolism, I guess.
yeah, it starts to kind of warm up after a while, because it's 79 degrees in here and it stays like that year round. And so it does start to get warm after a while, but his temperature is the same as his environment. They cannot maintain their own body temperature. So his temperature is roughly 79 degrees as well.
Okay.
It may heat up a little bit, after he's holding on to somebody, because, our body temperature obviously isn't that cool. But that's why it's so important, if you have to keep a sloth, is you have to keep them in a really warm environment. You can't just let them outside when it's 70 degrees out there, because that can completely wipe out the bacteria that they're using to digest their food.
Okay.
In the wild, they have all those moths on their backs, and those moths are producing that bacteria that they're using to digest it. So in the wild, temperatures are always fluctuating. Most of the time it's pretty warm, but if we've got a cold front up here, it does affect all the way down to Costa Rica
Sure.
as well down there as far as that. And so the temperatures can drop, and it drops, every night too. And so it's fluctuating quite a bit, and that can really stress out that bacteria and wipe out a lot of it. But
So they
for a
need to
wild
replenish
sloth,
that constantly.
yeah, and so that's why they have to go down there to repopulate every time, because the sloths are also eating some of the moths themselves as they're grooming themselves and licking up that bacteria on their backs that's being produced by the moths. They're eating some of them, and that's their protein source.
Okay.
So they'll eat those moths and a small variety of bugs and insects. You have to break it up really small. You might even need a knife to kind of cut it, because
That size?
let me slice it in half.
Okay.
Because he has still got small little chompers. And I don't think I've ever even offered him a green bean before. I don't know if he's gonna like it or not.
First time for everything. It's like just like a baby trying new foods.
And you'll have to hold on to the very end of it, and you'll just kind of offer it
That's
like
it.
here, how we're offering Flash. What do you think, buddy? Oh. Oh.
Maybe not.
Oh.
Not so much.
You're like, well, that's what happens sometimes with babies too. They try it and they're like, no. No? Oh, you're wanting to see what he's doing.
You smell
Hey,
it?
Flash.
You smell it?
Sometimes you almost have to
You
touch
smell
his
it.
nose with it.
There it goes. There you
Yeah,
go,
he says,
buddy.
see, that's what I've been waiting on my whole life.
Oh, yeah.
You're so handsome.
And his crunches are so cute. I could listen to him all day, but then if my fiance does that, I'm like, close your mouth.
I can't stand a human to do it, but when it's an animal,
Yeah.
I could just listen all day.
Yeah.
You guys put out some ASMR videos?
Oh, we
Just a
need
really
to.
good mic.
We really
You
need
should.
to.
Oh, man.
That's my favorite.
That is a good idea,
That would
actually.
go
Because
viral.
he's got mics that you would put on
That
our
would
shirts.
that would definitely
Yeah,
go viral on
that would be a
TikTok.
really cool
People
idea.
love that ASMR and any kind of cute animal crunches.
Yeah.
yeah, if my kids are smacking gum or something, I'm like,
Mhm.
Got it. There you go.
no, it's like, wait a minute, stop
Alright.
munching.
I don't want to drop this.
This is the good stuff here. There was a lady that offered Dash a little cut up piece of sweet potato the other day during an encounter, and he had been eating him, he was doing well. You could tell he was kind of slowing down and chewing a lot slower. And then they offered him another piece, and he left that piece like sticking halfway out of his mouth for the rest of the encounter. It was like 10 minutes that he had it sticking out
Hilarious.
there. They got
Can
so
he
many
have
pictures.
that?
Yeah, yeah. Those are
Here,
cut
I'll
up for
trade
him.
you. Everything good?
Oh, you
Nope,
don't want any
just
steak
snuggles.
veggies.
You're so sweet,
You
you
may
snuggled
have
right,
gotten full.
he just snuggled right on it in.
Another one?
Will you get a picture of him eating? If it's, this camera's not on, you can, yeah.
There we go.
Of course, now that
You
we
may
have,
have to break it in half to let him be able to smell it.
Well, let me get an open side then.
Yeah.
Try this. No, I'm just blinking at it. Okay.
oh, he's had enough.
I'll try and get here in a
You
little
don't
bit.
like those. You already tried and you didn't like it. Nosy.
He really is. He's got a severe case of FOMO.
Nosy Nelly.
He does not want to miss out on anything.
I offered you some.
And Dash has actually changed quite a bit from when we first got him. He was about 5 months old. When we first got him, he was obviously a lot smaller. He was only like 2 pounds when we first got him, and now he's about 5.5, 6 pounds. And when we first got him, it was in the cool. It was like December when we got him of last year, and he was like all dark. And a lot of people would wear dark colored hoodies, like a black hoodie or whatever, and he would completely blend into them, and the pictures would turn out terrible because you could tell what it was. But yeah, he was really dark when we first came. Now he's kind of got that salt and pepper look going on his back there. But when they're first born, they're always a lot darker because they're not born with that moss and algae that the mom already has on her back. It takes a while to develop, and they have to have some weight to camouflage into the mother so they don't stick out like a sore thumb. And a lot of times they'll hang out on the chest while she's hanging upside down. And so with all of the shadows and everything from the leaves that are up above them, the baby will blend in a lot easier if they're dark colored like that rather than if they're real light.
Okay.
And his hair's grown out quite a bit too. His hair's a lot longer now.
Yeah, they can get pretty shaggy.
Yeah, their hair will continuously grow throughout their lives. It's not that he sheds out the darker hair, it's just that it will slowly change over time. And some people consider them to be kind of hypoallergenic animals because they don't have any natural shed or dander to them. And so a lot of people that are allergic to other animals like cats will come in and they'll be like, oh, I should have taken Benadryl, I'm going to break out. By the end of it, they're completely fine because it's just, they don't really have any natural shed like that to them.
Do they get groomed?
Not really. They do all that themselves. You know, they stay up in the trees. It's not like they're rolling around on the dirt or anything. They're probably the cleanest animals that we have here on the entire farm. The most that we have to do for them is sometimes when they come down to go to the bathroom, if they go down a little bit too far and they're holding on to that branch, they do this little potty dance where they wiggle their booties back and forth, and if they're down too low, sometimes they'll get a few dingleberries from it. And we've got to clean that off of them, but it's only a once a week event, and so it doesn't happen very often.
You need to get a picture of him.
Oh,
He's sleeping.
we have had an influx of flies here recently.
He is out. Oh, you were. Sorry.
Probably a fly landed on him again.
Yeah, I felt it too.
So you never trims their clothes or anything? They're like
Well, with
short-
him, it's not really that we trim him, we Dremel his sometimes because his are a lot sharper just because he doesn't climb as much.
Oh, to help you guys.
Yeah, yeah. But they will naturally grow throughout their lives, but as they climb, they'll wear
they're
them
getting
down.
yeah. It's just like when dogs are on the
Mhm.
sidewalk and
Yeah,
stuff. They're
On that, yeah, concrete.
yeah.
Mhm.
He just said it all day.
see how tiny little pinpoint pupils that they have there in their eyes. They're like that all the time in the daytime, but at night they actually dilate quite a bit. And I'm not sure the exact science behind that, but that probably is what enables them to be able to see so much better. Because sometimes,
More light.
yeah, if I come down when all the lights are already off and everything, sometimes I'll just turn the kitchen light on and have it dimmed all the way down. I'll open up Zoe's enclosure and look in there. And usually Zoe is just a little loaf throughout the day. She stays in the same spot. She doesn't move around a whole lot. She just stays in the same area. And then at night, she climbs around a lot more because she can see better. And so it's not typical in the day. You don't ever see her move. So I open up that door expecting her to be in the same spot that she always is in the first time I ever came down here at night. And she was hanging on a branch like really close to the door, and those pupils were all dilated, and I had never seen her with those dilated pupils before, and it was like something straight out of a horror movie. I mean, it is like ingrained into my head. And I just slowly closed the door back and went back. I was like, yep, never again.
Did you give that squeak when they yawn?
Not really when they yawn, it's just when they close their mouth.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's not a vocalization, it's the teeth.
It's the teeth
sharpening.
grinding. Now they
Okay.
can vocalize, the babies especially when they're younger, if they're really, wanting something that they can't get or they're really determined about something, like trying to hold on to somebody. If we're like with Zoe, if I go in there and I'm trying to clean up her enclosure and she's awake, the only time she climbs throughout the day is if I'm in there and I'm not going to pick her up, because she'll be climbing at me, reaching out, trying to get me to pick her up. And when she does that, sometimes hers has almost turned more to a whisper, unfortunately, because it was the cutest thing ever when she did it when she was a baby. Now he still does it. He doesn't do it as much as she used to, but they'll make a little noise like that. And so hers is more, you can see her mouth open up, but it's just kind of like, but he still does it. He does it every time I put him into his enclosure. If I set that entire basket, I uncover him and he sees me closing that door on him, and he's like, no, be reaching up.
So you said he's 7.
Mm-hmm.
How old was she?
Zoe will be 2 in December.
2, and then
Yeah.
he just turned 1.
Mhm. Yep. All the ranges. And then we should be getting our baby Chloe here in about 2 weeks.
We have a daughter named Chloe.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna start a breeding program?
We don't have plans to just yet. We have the ability to, because Dash and Zoe are completely unrelated. We got them from the same breeder. He's been doing it for probably about 35 years now, and he's got his sloths tracked all the way back from his original sloths, and so he knows that they're completely unrelated. So we could breed them in the future if we wanted to, but adding on a whole baby to the mix is just a lot, because when, in the wild they have the moths on their backs to help kickstart that bacteria growth. But in captivity, they get that bacteria from their mothers, and they only get just a little bit from her saliva, and then they've got to germinate and colony and make that bacteria colony for themselves. And that takes a while to do, and you've really got to be careful and do, the diet is much different when they're babies compared to when they're a lot older, and everything is a very, very slow transition. And we've got a lot of workers here, and the other workers like to come in, and sometimes they'll feed like little snacks and things. We're trying to wean them off of doing
Don't
that,
do
because
that,
it's,
yeah.
they're on a specific diet. You can't just come, a green bean here and there is fine. But if they give a slice of banana, and I didn't know that he already had banana, and I give him banana later in the day, it can kind of start to be, some
Disrupt
issues.
that biome,
Yeah.
right, and then.
Exactly.
Okay.
And, too many fruits can really throw off, they can have an overgrowth of yeast in their system, and that can be an issue as well. That can cause some infrequent bathroom habits. Got a big stretch there, buddy.
I was wondering if he was coming back down. Ready for another green bean?
But yeah, so we're eventually gonna make a sloth house. That's gonna be our next thing, and I'll be the only one up there. And so then at that point, that would be a better, environment to be able to bring a baby into the mix. But we don't have any definite plans to just yet, because we've not got definite plans for that building. Not sure how long that's gonna take. And so could be in the future, but we don't have any for sure plans.
So you're their keeper.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
But I won't be here forever, hopefully, because my end goal is to become a vet.
Mhm.
And so I'll be submitting my application in 13 days. And I still have a lot more to do on it, but this will be my second time applying. I had applied last year and didn't get accepted my first time, which isn't unusual. Vet school is extremely competitive because
Really?
there's way more applicants into veterinary school than there is medical school, and way fewer schools to get into. And so that's
Okay.
why they're so competitive. It's not just grades that they look at. They want you to be well-rounded, not only in your animal experience, but in the community. I mean, it's crazy, all the stuff that they look at to be able to rule out.
Not many get to
So
say
they'll
they
look
took
at
care
like
of
here,
someone.
is
Exactly,
that okay?
so that's really what I'm hoping that will help me. And, you know, my first time that I applied, of course, I was devastated. You know, I knew that it was a possibility that I wouldn't get in, but of course it was a hard letdown. And then I started working here, which I actually met my fiance here, and if I had got in the first time, then I
Nice.
would not have met him, because I wouldn't have started here, so. Works out, everything
Where's
works
he
out.
at? See.
He's kind of the monkey keeper, so you'll see him walking around with a little Georgie on his shoulders.
I think
We
we saw
saw
him bring
him.
him into
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
office,
Yeah.
the shop.
Yeah, he has a hat that says, it's supposed to say Georgie's person, but they spelled it wrong, so it says Gorgie's person on that. But,
Is
yeah.
that here? His name is Caden, I think.
No, his name is Vladek.
Oh,
Caden
okay.
is the one with the red beard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We saw
Gotcha.
Caden.
Yeah.
We have a son named Caden, so the
Oh.
name's
That's
stuck
why
out.
it's stuck out.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you doing, buddy? You just sleeping now? You just sleeping now? You don't want no more green beans?
You tried green beans, you didn't like it.
Maybe little green beans? No, I'm not being interested again.
My voice is doing it again.
Yeah.
He
He's
goes
trying to go
all day,
out.
every day. He does
Huh.
this. I think it's being tested for stuff for
Oh,
nerves and muscle
well,
things.
that's weird.
And
Yeah.
so it started doing this like, I don't know, December-ish?
Yeah. Were it like shaky or?
No, it just goes all day in and out, in and out. Like you would think, some people would think I'm sick, but I'm not.
Oh,
And then it'll be fine in a little bit, and then it'll do
Yeah.
it again.
that is weird.
They're doing like testing for like MS and things like that.
Oh. Is that what,
Christina Applegate.
no, it was a
Um,
man that I'm thinking of. He does a lot of the dietary things for Trump now.
Oh
okay.
no, what does he have? He has something else.
He's got, I forget what they call it.
Looks like real shaky.
Is it I'm forgetting.
Yeah, I forget what they call it.
I forget, it's like little muscle spasms or something in his
Yeah.
vocal cords. I get like that
So
right before I
weird.
start crying or something. My voice will start shaking.
Shaking. Oh.
I couldn't imagine doing like that all the time.
Well, I promise I'm not sick. It just goes in
No.
all day, every day. To the point where my doctors are like,
Yeah.
one doctor's like, oh, that's an MS sign. Another one's kind of like, I don't know. And the other one doesn't think so. So there's like three different
Yeah.
opinions.
Do they make like a specialist or anything for your vocal cords or anything like that?
So she's seen a neurologist for the underlying things that we suspect.
I guess if they can't figure it out, maybe ENT for
Oh,
throat
yeah,
maybe.
maybe so.
I don't know.
If it's unrelated.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have symptoms of MS and I do have the lesions in the brain.
Mm,
I just didn't have the bands in the cervical
yeah.
or spinal fluid
Mm.
because they did a spinal tap, which is painful.
By the way, are we live?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Just so you're aware.
It's fine. That's painful,
Yeah.
but they didn't see anything in that because normally, well, not everybody with MS has the bands, but
Yeah.
a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I love the way he looks at people.
I know. And it's tempting, is it not, to scratch him on the chin when he's
Yeah.
Very
looking
much
back
so
like that?
is.
Yeah, I had to start adding
Just
that
like
in.
smooth looking
Yeah.
ears down.
You know, because a cat, especially, like you start running, a cat just loves the little scritches
Oh,
like
dogs
that.
love it. They stretch
Yeah.
out. Just,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you know, it really is startling for him. I had to start adding that in because I felt so bad because he just peacefully looking back and all of a sudden scrunches his neck back in when somebody touches him.
Poor.
And then he doesn't like to look around anymore, then he's like plastered to the person's
Aw.
chest.
No. Yep, getting that. Grip. You don't do anything with this arm though. There you go. You put it in there. You haven't moved that arm at all.
Yeah. Sometimes when he was younger, it would be really comfortable for him to latch onto like your bra strap right there, and he'd just latch right there and just be completely comfortable with that.
That's a
Now that he's gotten bigger, his arms are longer and he needs to wrap more around somebody.
Man, so if they're getting the new one in 2 weeks, we missed it by 2 weeks.
Oh,
The little bitty baby.
yeah. Well, she would have to go through a 30-day quarantine first, and then, we would slowly start adding on encounters, and she wouldn't have been part of the Sloth
this.
keeper. I mean, you may have got a glimpse, but not been able to spend a whole lot of time with her, because, when they're first babies, they've just been in the environment that they've been in for the
Yeah.
first 5 months of their lives with their mothers, And then it's very different to go somewhere completely new with completely new people that talk different and hold different and things like that. So it takes them a while to warm up. but then
Want to
after
try a
they
green
are-
bean again? Or something?
Maybe.
He might be
You still have
hungry.
a half a green bean in there.
Keep it warm.
Buddy.
Not for that one.
Not for that
Okay.
one.
Let's try a zucchini. Nope.
It's like
Okay.
he shook his little head.
Yeah.
I got yellow squash and carrot, or sweet potato. This is squash.
Oh, he's like, he hears her with the,
Yeah, he hears me open up that fridge. He knows he gets more options. when I open
Isn't
it
that
up.
funny? That they learn.
There we go. Oh,
Oh, no?
no. Start
Had a
taking
tiny,
away.
had a tiny nibble.
Okay, let's try sweet potato. See what happens. Just one piece here.
No,
No,
you don't have anything that I want.
it's not wet food with rice.
I was gonna see if he wanted some egg, but we don't have any egg in here. So that's what we're
She is
slowly,
stretching deep to see what she's doing.
we're slowly transitioning him over onto trying some hard-boiled eggs, because that's what he's on. For his protein source, 2 hard-boiled eggs a week meets their entire, protein requirements. One boiled egg has 16 grams of protein in it, so it's not very high, not very much that they need, but it is met by that, and so we'll slowly, he's only a year old, but it'll be the whole next year that we're slowly gonna be weaning him more off of that rice mixture, and he'll be on more of the hard-boiled eggs. What do you think, buddy?
Do you guys grow a lot of your food here?
No. They had a garden last year, but they didn't have, we got so busy with everything that they did not do another one this year.
Yeah. It's a full-time job in itself.
Yeah, it can be that, and the pests that,
Yes.
we tried squash and zucchini for the first time this year in our little garden,
Mhm.
and it was going really good. And then about
Squash bugs.
a month in, we had the squash bugs and the vine
Yes.
borers and
Yeah. And I hate spraying the veggies
no,
with
we
stuff
don't.
too.
We
Yeah.
don't. We don't. And so I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
But I also want it to be organic.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
everything tastes so much better from a little
Yeah.
garden.
Especially corn and green beans. Oh
And
my goodness.
tomatoes.
See, I can't do tomatoes.
You don't like
Yeah, I
But
tomatoes.
you like ketchup?
Yes.
Okay.
That's okay. I like grapes, but I can't stand raisins.
Really? That's so funny. Yeah, but I don't know. They look like they would be so good, and they look like they would be a lot better from a garden, and they look like they would taste so good. But every time I have ever tried them, I'm just completely disgusted. I
The
keep hoping
texture
my
on the
taste
inside?
Yeah, I mean, but I eat other things that are the texture. It's really just the taste. I just
Okay.
cannot, and the smell. The smell just grosses
Yeah.
me out too. I don't know. I
Salsa?
just can't do it. Yes, but I don't like the big chunks.
Okay.
I don't like the chunks.
So it's gotta be like this,
Yeah.
more smooth.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like. I'm a texture girl, so I don't
Mhm.
like the cherry ones or the grape ones that
Yeah.
you have to bite into.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
Even if you cut them in half, you're not a big
Yeah.
Is that a goat?
It's a sheep. Her name is Geep because she looks like a goat, but she's actually a sheep.
Okay.
She's a black belly sheep and she's a hair sheep. There's hair sheep and there's wool sheep. Typically think about sheep being, white and real woolly. She's neither. She's a black belly sheep, so you got that black belly and then everything else is brown on her. So just looking at her from the front, you'd think she was a goat, but the only surefire way to tell the difference between a goat or a sheep is to look at their tail. Goats' tails go up and they wave around like a little fan, and sheep's tails, if they still have them, they'll be down real long, flopping down like that. They can raise it up a little bit, but they can't completely raise it up like a goat can.
Okay.
And if it's docked, it's a sheep. You don't ever dock a goat's tail. So yeah, we first got Shoke because she's the sheep-looking goat, and she's a black belly sheep as well. And my fiance actually, before I started working here, brought her and told my future father-in-law that it was a sheep, and he was like, "No, that's a goat. I promise you that's a goat." And he's like, "No, I got it from a sheep farm." And he's like, "That was not a sheep farm because this is a goat." So they went back and forth on it, and then they finally looked it up and realized that it's a black belly sheep. So they
That's
were,
hilarious.
yeah. And I raise Katahdin hair sheep, so they're white, but they're a hare. so they don't grow that real long wool.
Okay.
And they shed out like goats do in the summertime, so you'll see all this white hair on the fence as they're rubbing up against it.
This is like when you have a baby, you just hold the baby and you just take a nap.
Yeah, several people have mentioned that. We need to offer sloth naps where we just get like a lazy boy in here and just get it all set up.
There you go.
Yeah, and just turn the lights off and
I
have
bet
like
that
a
would be
do
the
not
best
disturb.
nap ever.
Because they're like one of those little weighted stuffed animal things
Yes.
with the rice in them that you can just lay on you. Yeah.
He's got rice in him.
Yeah, he is completely content. And he would stay like this for hours. I mean, he is completely content staying on somebody, and the sloth keeper encounter is a little bit different because it's 3 hours straight with the 3 different sloths. But typically his day he'll have an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon, and that's all of his encounters that he will do.
Okay.
So his hour for this morning was blocked out so that we could do the sloth keeper, but this afternoon he only has like 1 encounter, and it's at 4:30, and that'll be a 30-minute encounter. Because we like to keep them limited on the amount of time that we get to spend with them, not because they wouldn't spend longer, they'd gladly be holding on to somebody for all day, but if that just became normal for them, that they just got to do so many encounters throughout the day, you know, if they were people like you know, where you're just been real calm, gentle, slowly petting, he's completely relaxed. Sometimes he'll get, you know, other people that are a lot more active, a lot more energetic, and it kind of, you know, it can be overwhelming after a while, so that's another
I'm
reason
sure,
why we
very
limited.
overwhelming and
Yeah.
overstimulating.
Yes, yeah. So they need time for that, to be able to decompress after they have certain people that will hold them and handle them a little bit differently. But, you know, if that's just something normal that they got all the time, they just got to be held and relaxed and just, you know, hold on to somebody, then it would never be something that they look forward to. Right now, it's at the point when we walk in here, if
He's
he's
like,
not had anybody and he hears voices and everything, he is already uncovering himself and reaching out,
He
trying
was.
to
That
get
was
somebody
so
to pick
cute.
him up. And I don't think I have, I don't know why I've never taken a picture of him doing this. I don't think I have one. But he will reach all the way out where he will completely uncover himself and be holding on by his 2 back feet and reaching all the way out backwards, fully extended. I mean, like hanging this far out of the basket. And I don't know how that basket has not toppled over. As he gets heavier, it's definitely going to. But
That'll freak him out when that happens.
oh yeah, well he's fallen out of the basket once. He has, but it was just to right here, and then afterwards he looked at me like, I'm never doing that again, and he did it like 5 minutes later. But oftentimes he's looking at you like this whenever you come in
Oh,
there.
that's cool.
Like E.T., like that
That
movie
is
where E.T.'s sitting in the front of that little
Yes.
bicycle.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
That's pretty much what he looks like most of the time, but sometimes he'll be reaching all the way out backwards, and I don't think I have a picture of him doing it.
You said he's the one that rolls up in the blanket, or is she rolls?
He does it, yeah. And we got Zoe at 5 months too, and she never did that. And another thing that Dash will do, which I don't understand why he does this, because for a dog or a cat it would be normal, for a sloth it's a lot different. He will actually take a corner of the towel and be nursing on it. Sloths only nurse for approximately 2 to 5 weeks, and that's it. And he's a year old, so it's been a long time since he's
It's
had
the
anything like
comfort
that.
that
I
wonder.
guess, I don't know, because I don't know. I don't understand how it could commute in their brain for just nursing for, say, 2 weeks. And that's still a comfort thing? Like, why would they not nurse for longer? I don't know. That's
Yeah.
always just been something that, now granted, the mother can only produce milk for, 5 weeks max. It takes a lot of energy to be able to do that. Because for them, they don't have the ability to store it. Because if they made up a lot of milk and then were storing it in their mammary glands, and then the baby didn't make it, then they just spend a whole lot of energy for absolutely no reason. So they'll actually produce it drop by drop as the baby is nursing to provide it for the baby. And that can be energy expensive too, because if she's already been climbing around and has used up a lot of her energy reserves, and then all of a sudden her baby starts nursing, then she's got to put out more energy to be able to supply that milk for her. And sloths are slow animals because they really have to be. In the wild, they're just eating 95% leaf material, and leaves are not high in calories, and it takes calories to make energy. So they really just don't have the means to be able to move around very quickly. They can have short bursts of energy, if they're startled by something and they want to get away from it. And their goal is to get out to the very end of that branch and hope that it breaks if the cat goes out there after them. They can use short bursts like that. And with Flash, when you guys get to see him actually go back up to his enclosure is about 20 feet. But it takes him about 10 seconds to get to the top of his enclosure, back to his hammock where he wants to be. So when they're on a mission and they really got something they
And
want
they
to do,
can move.
they can move a lot quicker.
We're
So
watching a
he's-
Planet Earth episode, and we saw sloths swimming to get from like one side of an area to another.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and some people, somebody told me the other day they thought it was an AI video that they watched of a sloth swimming, because you wouldn't think, like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Why would they be floating like that? You know, because if I just lay out in the water, I'm probably gonna sink, unless I take like a big, gulp of air in to be able to inflate my lungs. But for them, the way that they digest those leaves is kind of like a cow, because a cow just eats grass all day, and they have to ferment that. So the sloths will actually have 4 compartments of that stomach as well. And the first biggest compartment is kind of like the equivalent of the rumen for a cow. And that produces a lot of gas as they're fermenting those leaves, and that gas will make the stomach float. And so that's why they're so buoyant when they're in the water. And those arms, their front arms are twice as long as their back legs. So you can kind of see at that angle that he's at,
Yeah.
how, they're just, twice as long there. That makes him look kind of awkward hanging like that, but it's how they've been designed. And if you were to look at the skeleton or the skull of a sloth without having any prior knowledge of the animal, you would definitely think that he was like top of the food chain, because those arms are so long, and those claws and those teeth are so sharp, because they've got those 4 sharp canines, and those molars back behind them are not flat like ours are. They're all pointed. And so you'd think they were like definitely a meat eater, but in reality, to see what they actually are is pretty ironic. And I think that the Lord definitely has a sense of humor with some of the animals that he made in the beginning, because it makes you kind of second
Yeah, I
guess
think
some of
so.
the
Yeah.
it makes you second guess some of the dinosaurs and things too, because the skeleton of a kangaroo looks pretty similar to like a T-Rex. I mean, with those little arms and the tail, but
I
they
never
use that tail.
thought-
The
yeah.
functions are completely different. They think that you've seen like live action T-Rexes before, where they use those legs to go back and forth. Kangaroos don't do that. They hop and they use their tail. They're called a dipod, because they'll use their tail and their back feet and their front feet as they're walking. But then as they're, running, they're just jumping every time. They're using that tail to propel them forward. So the functions are completely different. But just by looking at them for a normal person, you would think that they were somehow the same type of animal.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's a baby or something. But in reality, it's actually pretty cool after you add the skin and muscle and hair and everything to them. A lot different.
Well, they're so
It's
cute.
interesting. You
when
can
they're
like
little.
examine a bone, 2 bones that connect to each other, and just the way that they wear and fit together. You can tell, how that bone is supposed to move, which ways it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Exactly, yeah. And that's my favorite part of working with animals, because it's, it's always been my passion to talk about animals, and I've always been big on education too. And for them, it's a lot more fun to talk about the way that a sloth moves and their digestive system and everything cool about them, how they can swim and those moths, and describe all of that and how sensitive a relationship and how specific everything is, and the bones, how they work to move together. To me, all of that just points, there's no other explanation for how we have all of these things other than the fact that there is a creator of the universe that made all of these way awesome things that I don't know how they could just come from absolutely
Right.
nothing, or come from something completely different. Like a lot of people will ask me what sloths evolved from, because they don't look like any other animal
No,
that
they
we
don't.
have. Because they aren't. And I always tell people that if sloths evolved from other sloths, the Lord made sloths to begin with. Granted, they looked a lot different than they do now. There's a thing as microevolution, but not macro, where you just, came from a tadpole and all of a sudden got this animal
Right.
that looks like a sloth. And there were different species of sloths. We do have fossilized records of the giant ground
That's
sloths.
what I was gonna say.
Yes.
They said that they
Mhm.
had some really, really large ones
Yes.
back in the day.
Yes, and you can actually thank the giant ground sloths for avocados, because they have been the only animal that has ever been able to swallow the entire avocado seed and transplant those around.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Now they're not, they're part of the same super order or class or whatever you call it, but they're not descendants from one another. They're not related that closely or anything like that. So there were tree sloths and there were ground sloths.
Okay.
And they're very different.
I wonder what the earliest common ancestor was, like where
I'm
Where
not
the
exactly
fork
sure.
happened. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Do they ever, how like dogs and other animals, when you can tell they're dreaming because they kind of twitch and
I think so.
do they do this?
I think so, yeah, because there's been times where I've watched him where he's been like nursing on the towel, and you can see his little tongue flickering, and he's like kind of twitching with his eyes.
I thought I felt
think
him
so.
twitch, but I
Yeah.
wasn't sure.
I really do think that they dream sometimes, yeah.
You were talking about the way they digest, and I was going to ask earlier, like, are they gassy? given the evil out of it?
Not supposed to be, no, but if they run into issues, dietary wise, if they're fed something completely weird or too much of something, like too much banana or something like that. Because if you offered him a whole banana, he's gonna eat it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he necessarily needs it, because they're not exposed to anything like that in the rainforest. So no, they're not supposed to, but if you feed them something that they're not supposed to have, that could definitely happen.
You offer me a Butterfinger, I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
See, my voice is back.
Oh. Yeah, that's weird. Another thing specific to a sloth is that any other animal that you can think of that's like a dog or a cat, an animal built like that to be walking on all fours, their hair will part down the middle of their back. Like ours, parts down the middle of our head for the most part. For a sloth, there's parts in the middle of their abdomen and will fall back the other way because that's how they stay all the time.
Yeah.
Makes sense,
Mhm.
yes.
There's no gravity training their hair.
I guess
in
I
that
never
direction, right?
paid attention to that though, but that must make sense.
Yep. And in the wild, for them to start to form all that moss and algae and everything, all of their little hairs have individual tiny micro cracks all throughout them, and that's what will allow that rainwater to start to gather on their backs, and over time will form all that moss and algae. Because they don't shake like a dog would, if they got wet or something, it all just stays right there, and they're already really slow moving, so a lot of people will attribute that to why they have the moss and algae, because they're just so slow. That's a part of it.
Did you hear the egg? His eyes popped open.
But the biggest reason is just because of that moss and
Was
algae.
that a donkey right there?
No, that's Liza. She's a llama.
Oh, all I could
Yeah.
see was like,
Yeah,
it was standing right at the door.
yeah.
Do most of the animals socialize together?
Yeah, not the sloths. The sloths are by themselves. They're
They're cool with the kangaroos, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, they can be in. Now, Flash is finicky. If the kangaroos were jumping around out here, he would go all the way to the end, ball up in a low ball, and not look at anything at all, because he doesn't like movement like that around. It just makes him really
Kind of
uneasy.
predator behaviors.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't believe these are still, I mean, I forgot they were back there.
Yeah, they're just sleeping. That's where they're most comfortable. They're big enough to be outside of the pouches, but if you show them a pouch or you've got a pouch hanging up, that's where they are. They're in
Well, I've seen like shows on, and like the mom will have another baby, and they'll still want to be in that pouch.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. Like
their anatomy.
and she's trying to kick that baby out because
yeah.
she's got a brand new baby.
Yeah, the kangaroo anatomy is completely, I mean, it is just
It's
mind-boggling.
weird.
Yeah. Because marsupials in general, they already have, most marsupials have 2 uteruses, but kangaroos take it a step further and they actually will have 3 vaginas. And the 2 have the way to go to the 2 uteruses, and the other one is attached to the ureters. So it's really, really interesting, and they have the ability to,
That's wild.
once they become pregnant once, they are pregnant the rest of their lives. Because they always have one on backup. It's an embryonic diapause, so it doesn't continue to develop, but it stays at the same developmental stage, so that if that other baby doesn't make
Hey,
it,
buddy.
if it doesn't make it up to the pouch, or if the mother kicks it out, because that happens sometimes, they're terrible mothers. If it kicks it out, then they've got 2 days, and then that other one will be born.
So they have one vagina that's just for urination.
Yeah, it's somehow, I was looking at a diagram the other day, and it's like there were 2 routes that go.
He's got his leg completely stretched out.
Yeah, two of the routes will go around and go up to the individual uteruses, and then there's one in the middle that will end up going to the bladder. Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Hey, Flash.
What do you think, buddy? He likes to look out that window sometimes if I've got it open.
So in captivity with a mother and a baby, how is the mother transferring the bacteria to the baby? Is it just through contact of the fur?
No,
or is
so
it
what,
grooming?
yeah, that's a good question. So actually what will happen is around day 3 of the baby's life, that's when they start to be interested with what mom is doing
Oh my
and
gosh.
what's going on with her. She may be
That's a
interested
good,
in
that's a
her
good
grooming.
photo. If he comes down a little bit further.
What? Yes,
Oh, creepy.
all right.
Oh my gosh, the crunch. You
Yeah.
need to get a little video of that if he needs another one.
I have some.
Let's see if we can break out some more over here.
Don't eat my finger.
Well, wait, we'll do one. Oh, he's like, excuse me.
Hold on.
She's getting you another one. Come on. Yeah, video.
We got some good crunching and snacking on that
That's
one.
great.
And you can probably see in that video too, those really long
Long-
canines as he's
yes.
opening up like that, yeah.
And you don't like those. I've tried it twice now.
He just wants to
feeling
know what's
left out?
going on
Uh-huh.
around him.
You feel left out.
You get that one if you're feeling left out. Okay. No?
But anyway, that baby will climb onto the chest of the mother, and while she's eating the leaves or whatever it is that she's eating, the baby will kind of start licking her around the corners of her mouth, because some of it will kind of bubble up there in the corners while she's eating. And they'll lick up some of that and eat some of the leaves that she's got hanging out of her mouth too. And then a lot of times they'll lick up a lot of that saliva that's in her mouth as well. And the bacteria that she has in her gut is also in her saliva and starts to break down some of it beforehand. It's kind of like enzymes, but in a very completely different way, because we use ours in an enzymatic process to digest our food. We're born with those enzymes. They're not born with the bacteria. They have to get it from the mothers, and so they'll get just a little bit from their saliva, and then they will start to, develop it on their own. Bacteria will do what bacteria does, and in the gut will slowly start to germinate, culminate, and develop their own. But when they're little and when it's really sensitive and they're still trying to establish that, you have got to be sure that the temperature is always stable. Sometimes for these guys, we'll open up their outdoor enclosures if we see that the temperature is rising and say it's like 70 degrees, but it's like, okay, it's slowly warming up. We can open it up for them and they'll be fine. But for a baby, they have got to have steady environmental, the same the whole time, so that bacteria doesn't have a little decline or anything.
Those. Do one of these? Yeah. Hey?
Oh, yeah, no.
That's
Sam
not
wants
the same
green
thing.
beans
One of these?
are my jam. Nope.
Oh my goodness, buddy. You're so
Picky.
picky.
Well, he knows if he's picky, he can get what he wants.
He does. He got me trained. Break out the whole bag here.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. Yes, nosy. That's the best.
Just a little
See
bit.
what that can get. Slowing down. You getting full?
Starting to. And
That's
what's
probably what they do, they just graze.
Yeah.
Like in the wild, they would just graze, right?
Exactly, yeah. Well, it's called foraging, but yeah, basically the same thing. Same thing as the cow would be grazing,
Yeah.
it's just called foraging for them because they're up in the trees. But yeah, and their system, it's really cool the way that it's laid out because they only have that one-way valve that allows food to go in, but not back out.
Oh,
So
so
they've
that
got
was
to be
the
sure
upside
that,
down, right.
exactly, yeah. And that's why, for us, we have two-way valves. We have the ability to vomit, so we would not be able to do that. But for
So
them.
if he ate something bad, he couldn't get rid of it.
Exactly. They'd be stuck with it for another 30 days. So they've got to be selective with what they're eating and make sure that they know that what they're eating is going to be okay for them. And for a wild sloth, they're eating 95% leaf material. Those leaves, the Sarcopia trees will start to develop a toxin in those leaves over time. And the older that the leaves are, the more the toxins that they'll have in them. And so those leaves will be closer to the trunk of the tree. And the fresher leaves that are just starting to grow, the smaller ones, they don't have as much cellulose, so they're easier to break down, and they don't have toxins in them yet. And so the sloths will most of the time stay out on the very end of the branches to eat those, and that's when they're most exposed to eagles. The harpy eagle is the most successful thing that can grab a hold of a sloth because they have the element of surprise. He's just barely holding on to that branch right now, but if a jaguar were to come and start messing with him, he'd really clamp down. He'd be able to actually withstand a 35 or 40 pound cat hanging by his back, trying to get him down off that branch, and he's not budging. He's gonna be holding on the whole time. Obviously, he's gonna sustain a lot of damage from that. But if an eagle swoops in and grabs one leg and just rips off, all the rest of the 3 legs are gonna come with it.
I know.
Yeah.
Circle of life.
Yeah, that's what happens a lot of time to them. But yeah, they've got to be selective with what they're eating. But they can't just continue to eat and eat and eat and eat and eat, because if they did, that would back up, and that valve does not let food to go back out. And so they've kind of got like a little internal off switch that they can just flip as soon as their system starts to back up and tell them that they're full. They will completely shut off, even if he's completely interested in those green beans like he was. And then if his system's like, all right, I'm starting to get up there to the full point, then he'll stop and he won't eat again until his system starts to go back down and tell him that, and that could be a few minutes, or that could be the rest of the day, until his system will go down. Obviously it's a very slow process, but if he gets that, feeling again that he wants to start eating, then he can.
Okay.
And it's all just up to the system.
I guess their fur kind of does feel like a long-haired dog.
Yeah. In a way.
Did you feel this one?
I know Budgie saw me get down.
No, see.
He is.
Yeah, it's not as coarse as like an overcoat on a dog. It's still thin.
Mm-hmm.
You can run your fingers through it.
I don't think she has anything else for you, buddy.
And you said he's not eating eggs yet, right?
He's small amounts.
Okay.
Small amounts, twice a week when the other two get theirs, we'll give him a little bit. And he likes the yolks a lot better, but
No? You don't want any more? No? There's one. You didn't want any, huh? You just want to look and see what's going on.
so this is what that mixture looks like before the dog food in it.
Okay.
And then we soak the dog food in those little brown pieces that are in it.
Gotcha.
That's where they get the protein from.
And that's shredded sweet potato and like brown rice.
Yeah, and we have to shred up that sweet potato, because when they're younger, they can't, they can choke a lot easier on things, and that's why we have to chop up those veggies real small, or cut them into thinner slices there.
Oh, and because they can't vomit, they can't clear a blockage, right?
Exactly, yeah. And I know this is extremely gross, but it's part of the job too. You gotta squeeze all this up in between your fingers to make sure that it's all
Yum.
evenly distributed
Sure.
between.
Yum.
Yeah, I mean, it's all food. What's wrong with it?
Yeah, most people will say that this mixture looks like something that they would eat, and I'm like, well, it also has dog food in it. I'm like, oh, never mind. Yeah. All part of the job.
It does look like pulled pork.
How much?
Yeah, rice and
Yeah,
veggies.
Overcast and 81 might be a great day to take him outside if you want.
maybe.
Oh,
Haven't
he's
gotten-
got low.
Let them get some natural light and all that. Sun themselves.
Yeah, they like it. They don't like it when it's bright out.
Okay.
When it's overcast and warm, that's
Me either.
that's
I
a
like an
sloth's.
overcast day too.
That's a sloth's groove.
We haven't gotten Zoe out quite yet, so we may trade out and have her for just a little bit, and then we'll get Dash back out, maybe go outside for a trip.
Idea.
Dash likes it a lot better outside than Zoe does.
I like it outside, baby. Is that who
And
y'all
he's
must
alive.
that must have been who y'all had outside yesterday?
Dash,
This one, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw a lady was holding
yeah,
outside. And I was like, oh, I didn't know they did outside ones.
yeah.
And Dash is the youngest, right?
Yes.
Zoe's
This
what,
is
a
the
year
one,
older?
2. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's 2.
Zoe will be 2 in December.
So it's not a age thing about liking the sun, it's just a
Yeah.
temperament.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they've all got their own personalities, and you'll see when we get a hold of Zoe, how different they all are.
So the baby you're getting, like are you talking like 5 months, 6 months, that's something?
Yeah, around 5 months. I'm not sure exactly how old she is.
Okay.
It all will depend, because it's not something that the breeder does. The breeder does not wean them. It's the mother that will wean them.
Gotcha.
And so typically it's around 5 months, but sometimes certain mothers will hold on to their babies for a little bit longer. And occasionally the baby, it's not always that the mother will wean the baby. Sometimes the baby will wean itself. They are very solitary animals, and so if that baby thinks that they've got all the knowledge that they need to be able to survive on their own, and they'll just leave the mother, especially if the mother is hanging out in a tree that the babies don't necessarily prefer, because they all kind of have their own tastes. And sometimes the baby has gotten a taste of a different type of a tree while the mom has been going through that one, and they're like, I like that one a lot better than the one that she's hanging out in, and so they'll just leave to go find that tree themselves.
That's weird.
Do they come back, or is that at that point are they kind of on their own?
There's once they've left the mother, they're completely on their own. But there's a lot of differencing in research out there, because some scientists will say that one sloth can move up to like a mile in a day, round trip. A lot of times they'll come back to their own tree, if that's the one that they've deemed that they like the most, that they taste the best to them, and it's got a lot of good places to hide and places to rest. They'll go back to that tree. Other scientists will say that they don't move a whole lot at all, and they'll stay in the same tree. They may move as much as a mile in a day in the same tree, but they don't like to move from that tree. So there's a lot still of research going on about sloths. And like I said at the beginning, nobody knows exactly what the life expectancy is of a wild sloth, because there's yet to be any scientists that's been able to track them. So.
Supposed to cut out and
Oh, oh, that startled you when she
Yeah, I'm
pulled that
sorry.
towel.
And that for them, since their eyesight is so poor, their sense of hearing is really heightened. So little sudden noises like that are just normal for us, like a door opening and closing kind of quickly, if we see that happening, we're not startled. But for them, they can't see it, and when they hear it, it's a lot louder for them, so it can really
Startled
startle
you,
them for them.
yeah.
Especially if I clang a dish on accident, because that's already loud to us. And it's just loud to
Well, I
us.
can't
It's-
imagine, I can't
yeah,
imagine. for
It's
you.
really loud for them.
Oh, look at all those teeth in there, yeah.
And of course, we've got this stainless steel sink and all these stainless steel Tupperware bowls. So it's
Yeah.
pretty loud
Start to
clang when
see
we
that.
do.
It's to see the fridge.
Yeah.
I promise there's nothing in there that you probably haven't already tried.
I noticed a lot of the movements aren't very smooth. It's almost like kind of a,
Almost kind of jerky.
like a, yeah.
It depends on the sloth. Flash is a lot more steady with his movements. You know, he's a lot more controlled and slowly, especially when you see him go back up into his enclosure, you'll know what I'm talking about. But Dash is a lot more jerky, like when he was holding on here, and then he goes back down to here. So they're all kind of a bit different, but. Let's see, I'm gonna get this bowl ready for Zoe when we get her out, just in case she's hungry. After I put all my veggies away.
Do you use separate bowls for them to keep cross contamination with everything? Like
Yeah, I
one
mean,
is separate for
yeah,
everything?
we wash in between and things like that.
What you doing?
And this bowl here just has that dog food in it, and the dog food goes to everybody.
Good job.
I love that he doesn't mind hanging out in the basket. That's awesome.
Nope, and Zoe was the same way when she was a baby. Now, they were raised very different from a normal sloth, and so normally a sloth is not gonna be wanting to lay in the basket or lay in the ground, but for them, that's just, you know, something that they've been acclimated to from a young age.
Because she got something else.
This is all the same stuff, buddy.
Tucks that arm back in.
Sit up here. Alright. Grab this towel behind you. This is their diet chart actually too. Who sees me moving back here? This is their diet chart, so they get about 75% leaf material. And then these commercialized biscuits, we just ran out like 2 days ago, but they get kind of a high fiber biscuit it's marketed towards monkeys. It's a monkey biscuit, but they're really high in fiber, and so they're good for a lot of different animals, the tortoises, the iguanas, everything, different things get them. And they get that in the evenings. And then they've got their non-leafy vegetables, so things like sweet potato and squash and zucchini, and other things like pumpkin and green beans, you know, carrots to add in. Now the carrots you got to be careful with because they're pretty high in sugars, and so that can lead to that overgrowth of yeast that I was talking about. and just a little bit of fruit, and you can see even smaller amounts of protein, so that can be given by hard-boiled eggs or dog food, and some bigger organizations will actually opt to give them pinkies, especially if they're like a breeder. And the pinkies are those little mice that haven't even developed hair yet. You get Zoe out here real quick, and I'll be right back out. So do you actually, well, do you want to hold Zoe, or do you want to switch over and you hold Dash for a little bit?
Hold Dash.
Yeah, that's fine.
This is her day. So.
Yeah.
It's my dream. You're just along for the ride.
Alright.
Oh.
So he's just gonna open up his back legs and wrap around your waist, and then just put one hand under the booty and then one on the back. If he looks like he's starting to get hungry at all, there's his bowl as well. I know, bud, you can be crinkling everything around here.